Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Do me a favor, hit like, share, subscribe, and follow. Turn up your notifications so you're notified when we do go live. You're watching Sharp Edge News TV. Welcome back. Sorry about last week. Some things came up, but we're back at it again. All right, folks, brace yourself because it's time to welcome the man who wears two very impressive hats. One as the publisher and the editor-in-chief of SharpEdgeNews.com, and the other, of course, as I-Chief or Doc Wetu of Aide Ogbese. Yes, you heard that right. He's not just cutting through the news like a hot knife through butter. He's also holding it down as the High Chief or Doc Wetu of Aide Ogbese in Akure North local government Ondo State. So whether he's ruling the newsroom or the kingdom, this man is always a sharp edge ahead. Give it up for the man, the myth, the legend, High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Ola. It's nice to be back. Not just with you, but our audience, viewing audience all over the world. It's been some days of tough challenges, not just globally, but also in our personal lives. For everybody going through one thing or the other, whether positively or negatively. Let us connect and bond as members of one big human family that we see you. And that said, we are back. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Well, without any further ado, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in to the special, the SharpEdgeNews.com special report for the week. If you will, just go ahead and take it on.
Thank you very much. We start our special with the exclusive interview that we had with a Nigerian official, somebody that handles the push against communicable diseases and all forms of infections like national security issue. I am talking of an epidemiologist from Ondo State, Nigeria, who is amongst individuals and experts drawn from across 19 countries of Africa, currently moving from one state to the other across the United States, and having cross-fertilization of ideas with state department officials and officials of a Center for Disease Control in America. This highly placed official, Mr. Boyega Adekunle Famokun, sat for an exclusive interview with us yesterday at the Crowley Plaza Hotel, Kansas City, downtown in Missouri, and it was quite revealing. It is not all the time that you hear sharing news about Nigeria, but on this note, it's been noted by co-participants of this exchange program that Mr. Famokun is an outstanding professional, an outstanding, an A-class epidemiologist. And we sat down with him, and he told us Nigeria's approach to discovering and tackling all kinds of diseases. And he recalled that the good work done by Nigerian experts concerning the uncovering of Ebola, what has been done in terms of the push against Lassa fever, the good work done particularly by Ondo State amongst Committee of States in Nigeria in making sure that COVID-19 was beaten in its track, and it did not wipe off uh, a considerable population of the state, was what stood him out, and recommended him for what he is doing across the United States with other experts at the moment. They have been to several states, and it's a breathtaking uh, kind of a trip around our country, United States here, and it just does not happen that among individuals from 19 states, somebody from a tiny corner, tiny desk, is recognized for his works, and then he is given that exceptional privilege to impact on the world what ideas he has. So it is not all the time that Nigeria takes the beat when it comes to developmental strides. And this is coming at a time when there is a rollback on international funding of critical programs by the Donald Trump administration in the United States. Ordinarily, America needs the help, and this cannot even be emphasized than necessary. America needs the expertise of everyone in a season in which measles is having an upswing surge in the United States. So how some of these experts are impacting and lending us from their pool of experience, how they have been able to do it in tropical countries and places that you would not even imagine that things like this are happening. How they try to make sure that they assist America in taming the monstrous rise in terms of all forms of diseases. The push against the ugly campaign and doubts concerning immunization. That's what brought Mr. Famokun and others to town. So in a not too distant future, this interview, the full text will be released, both on tape, audio, and the full text will be released by our outfit. These are some of the things we are doing at SharpEdge News that makes us so exceptional in a very concise form. We move from that to the hopes and aspirations of Nigerians concerning how to improve on correctional operations of the Nigerian Correctional Service. Last week, the new Controller General of NCS, Nigeria Correctional Service, in person of Mr. Sylvester Ndidi Nwakwiche, was confirmed as the substantive, decorated as such by the Honorable Minister of Interior in Nigeria. And like I said, there is so much hope that Mr. Nwakwiche is the new kid on the block that everybody expects to introduce far-reaching reforms that would put issues of prison break, issues of poor welfare and poor treatment for inmates, and disparities in how inmates are treated. Some staying within the walls of the correctional facilities, and some having to stay in a highbrow arranged accommodation, such as we find with the interesting and questionable matter of Bob Risky the other day. So, Mr. Wakushe, you're welcome on the job, but understand that Nigerians want you to deliver, they want you to perform. Nobody should be treated as an hostile citizen or as enemy citizen or adversarial citizen or as an adversary. In this case, you look for investigative reporters like Mr. Shoyombo, whatever ideas they have to contribute. All those organizations, non-for-profit, non-governmental, civil society groups, whatever they have to contribute, draw closer experts in all facets of development, ICT, and what have you, so that when some of these inmates regain their freedom, whatever reward system you have, they will be impactful in the society. We move from there before we take our last report, which will just be for a minute, to touch on the sad passing of the chief imam of Usho Kingdom in our local government of Ondo State, Nigeria, in the person of Alhaji Bodunde Onyilade, a very amiable big brother. He impacted the world in ways that anybody could imagine. You see, people tend to focus on leaders who come from well-known places and what have you. And that is not the way the creator of this universe wants it to run. Otherwise, nobody will remember the simple carpenter who was a miracle worker from the tiny community of Nazareth, who was born in an insignificant stable in Bethlehem, and then was pronounced the king of the Jews and non-Jews in Jerusalem. So what I'm saying is that, yes, the late chief imam of Usho Kingdom may have lived amongst his people, but he traveled very wide. Of course, before he passed on last week, he had just returned 3 weeks earlier from a long trip to the United Kingdom. And our hearts go to the entire Onyilade family, the Muslim community, all persons from Usho Kingdom, the government of Ondo State, and it is our prayer that his soul will find sweet repose with Allah. Finally, things are happening amongst Nigerians in the diaspora that you would not believe. Right before our very eyes, we see all kinds of phony, fraudulent deals in which spouses who can no longer cohabit in peace turn against each other, and then they perpetuate practices that would outrightly border on yanking off children without the knowledge of one of the estranged parties to very serious and something that could be tragic in a family feud. But facades are always created. Stories are told to whoever is the new spouse on the block on how irresponsible somebody has been. And then without thorough investigation, the new spouse joining in the whole thing will take sides. And without the approval of whoever has been pushed out, have been blindsided, children will be taken over in what looks like a script from either Nollywood or Hollywood. Watch out for our detailed reports on things like this. And sometimes some of these mischievous spouses will cook up all kinds of stories about their estranged persons, probably saying, he actually had this disease, he had this infection, things that never happened. They will sell it to the unsuspecting children that were born in America, UK, and what have you. That way, these children, it is one-way traffic. They don't even try to fact check and know that somebody is trying to mess their minds up, and then they take sides. They create their own villains and heroes in things they know little or nothing about. I think we've got to continue to work within our community and then to apprise the authorities in wherever, of the countries, wherever we may be sojourning, about the tradition and the culture that we so much cherish where we're coming from, and the need to always be fair and balanced. The court system in this country should take exhaustive steps to understand that some people may be out to sell Washington Bridge, snake oil, all in the name of having their freedom. Yes, freedom is sweet, but it cannot be based on falsehood. It has to be earned. That said, we're done with our special report for this week. And only the wise who understand what we're talking about. But these are times in which all of us must be on the guard. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me clearly, sir? Just to make
very
sure.
Clear. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
okay.
All right. Awesome. Do us a favor, please hit like, share, subscribe, turn up your notification. We're getting into the conversations now. We're about to talk about the trendy stories all around the world. So hit like, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we drop videos or go live. We will be right back. Let's see. All right, welcome back. So I'm looking at this on Channels TV, their actual blog, and it says WIKE apologizes to First Lady over Rivers women's walkout, calls incident embarrassing. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom WIKE, has criticized a group of women who walked out during an empowerment event organized by First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu in Port Harcourt, calling the act disturbing and embarrassing. The protest happened on Friday at the EUI Event Center and was allegedly led by women loyal to the suspended Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara. Some of the protesters, said to include sacked local government vice chairpersons, left the venue while chanting pro-Buhari slogans. They demanded that Governor Fubara's wife Valerie address them instead of the wife of the state administrator, Mrs. Teresa Ibas. Despite the protest, the event continued inside, with Mrs. Ibas speaking on behalf of the First Lady. Reacting to the incident in the statement released on Saturday through the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media, Larry Olayinka, that name rings a bell. Minister WIKE, currently on official engagements in China, expressed disappointment over what he termed. So I have a question for you, sir, so you can take over this.
Right. Yeah,
First, do you have to have a journalism degree to practice journalism? Did you watch that back and forth between the animal anatomist and the journalist? And did you watch that? And what is your take on that? And then you can also address the Tinubu situation.
In truth, I do not know who the animal anatomist is, and I don't know.
The animal anatomist, I'll tell you, is what's his name? Rufai actually studied animal anatomy in school. So it was a back and forth between Larry Olayinka and... Okay,
if that is, I know Rufai by reputation very well, and he is one of these words. I do not want to confine him to being a Nigerian journalist or African journalist. One of the most hardworking journalists in this world. And I also know Larry Olayinka to be somebody with a background in public communications and journalism. I do not really, but let me tell you that being an animal anatomist in one's first life, just like I was trained with, as an expert in English language and curriculum studies. However, by training and passion, I became a journalist, and that is my profession. You understand this? So the fact that Rufai,
so wait, you didn't have a journalism degree too?
Not a full-blown degree, but I also have certificate of training from BBC and other organizations.
So according to Mr. Leo Lanyika, many of you are breaking the rules. Many of you are breaking.
Who is setting the rules? You see, some of these guys, in fact, professionally, some of the people who are talking will not be the ones setting the standard for me as to how professional I am. But I am eminently trained by first generation hands in journalism in Nigeria. So if I was trained by somebody like Baba Femi Kusa, Baba Lade Bonola, people like the late Alhaji Alade Odunewu, the current Commissioner for Information in Lagos, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, and so on and so forth, and self-training myself with contributions and well-known professional efforts of people like Dr. Ruben Abati. You are going to tell me that I am not a thoroughbred journalist? As you even start with me to understand the rigorous, mental stuff that constitutes my professional DNA before you can open your mouth like that. Whatever anybody is saying, Rufai Oseni is nobody's pushover in journalism. And you need to also look at the personalities who come around and teach journalism most times. They themselves, do they really have what it constitutes to be called thoroughbred professional journalists? I do not need the validation, and Rufai Oseni, so also it's later like you will not need anybody's validation before you know the stuff you are made of. If you are in doubt as to how tough I am professionally, then you need to ask my contemporaries in Abuja. When I attend assignments, you also know that somebody who is well prepared ahead of that event and that assignment is right there, not just as a bench warmer, but as somebody who drives what would make the following day's headlines. That is there. Now, as to somebody
WIKE, Fubara, Remi Tinubu.
Yeah, having to apologize to Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu. Well, that is what you would call a politician being clever right there. But for the people who staged a walkout on Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, it's a way of making it known to her directly that this thing they have done, the emergency role appointment of an illegal sole administrator, an illegitimate interim administration in the state, is causing so much disaffection, and that people, majority of the people of that state, possibly so, are against that kind of unconstitutional measure. And who else would deliver it? But the politician in WIKE is apologizing to her. You find so many willing sycophants all over Nigeria. He probably was the one that had given the government in Abuja, the federal government, overdose of false security or intelligence estimates and reports that warranted the needless situation. So what do you expect him to do in this situation? And then because of that, and kudos to the courageous women who staged such a walkout. This is not what we want. Here we had said good things are happening in Nigeria. And when bad things happen too, we need to speak up. This thing that is called sole administrator, sole administration, or interim arrangement in. We thought after the wasted efforts of installing an interim administration of Shonekon on Nigerians, something that was vehemently opposed by everybody during the interregnum between Babangida and Abacha, that nobody would want to do such a thing, repeat such a thing in Nigeria anymore. But as it's often said, you know, history has a way of repeating itself. It could be a form of comical farce, such like we have it now. It's, I mean, a comical script that has to stop. That is the statement those women made. So whether WIKE is apologizing or not, you know, he is one of them. He was the one that sold his home state for a pittance. So he can apologize for as long as he wants. But Later Olayinka has a job to do, and that is what he is doing. I'm reluctant to criticize him just because I know him very well. And at some point, I think reason will prevail, because some of these principals, they know how to hook up. And Later Olayinka, maybe whatever is driving him, I know he has a passion, and I'm not going to start questioning that. But the overriding appeal must be to a sense of patriotism and court decency. He should stop trying to tear down everybody. I had him elsewhere accusing Bobby Dele Momodu of collecting over 500 million naira to support Atiku Abubakar's presidential.
I think it was the same live stream. It was the same live stream. That's what they were asking him about when he went into.
I had all that. Later, Olayinka has got to control his temperament. The outbursts are too much. And in the final analysis, these people will meet each other. One person taught me, you know, I was an embedded strategist for the former Governor Mimiko of Ondo State. I studied him closely. I find out that most times he never personally attacked any of his political adversaries. He never did that. But many of us that were supporting him will go on the attack. There have been times I stood up because of somebody trying to undermine Dr. Reuben Abati when he was first named media advisor to President Goodluck Jonathan. Eventually, all these people that Abati and all these people made up, he and some of these people became good friends. What happened to some of us that were in the audience taking sides? Perhaps if today I call Dr. Abati, he may even be reluctant to pick my call. But if Imani Boro calls him, you can be sure that Abati will answer him pronto. So people should be very careful. These people, from the experience of Mimiko that I've mentioned, from the experience of Dr. Reuben Abati that I've mentioned, some of us who are heads to some of these public figures have to tread carefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Speaking of Reuben Abati, somebody who tried to undermine him a few weeks ago is going to come up in one of the trending news we're going to talk about today, the VDM. But in the meanwhile, we have another story we want to cover before we jump into that. But hold tight. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So we have Trump offers $1,000 for immigrants to leave, but we also have another story that's breaking here. Trump desperate for trade deal as clock ticks down. I'm looking at the report here. There are two reports I want to bring you up to speed on real quick. Well, the first one is the one I'm looking at on CNN about the trade deal. It says President Donald Trump, the deal maker in chief, has said for weeks that at least one trade deal is imminent.
I think CNN should have had a self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed. Okay.
They should have put that there. He called himself that.
Right. Hello, Marriott. I see you, Marriott. Yeah. All right. So it says self-proclaimed. I'm going to hide it myself. Self-proclaimed deal maker in chief has said for weeks that at least one trade deal is imminent with one of the dozens of countries in active negotiations with the United States to avoid punishing tariffs. So where is it? On Sunday aboard Air Force One, Trump said there could very, and I quote, I have to put that in quote, there could very well be, close quote, there could very well be, it looks like he's always dreaming, there could very well be trade deals announced this week.
That's a probable subjunctive right there. It may not exist anywhere. So go ahead.
There could very well be trade deals announced this week. He also said that last week and the week before. At the same time, Trump continued to temper expectations, saying foreign countries, both friends and foes, have been ripping off the United States for years, and trade agreements would come only when he agrees to terms that will benefit Americans. The ball is in his court, not theirs, Trump argues. I'll let you speak to that. But on the second story here, Trump administration say it will pay immigrants in the U.S. illegally $1,000 to leave the country. If you're in the U.S. illegally,
okay.
Illegally, he will pay you $1,000 to leave the country. According to AP, pushing forward with its mass deportation agenda, President Donald Trump's administration said Monday that it would pay $1,000 to immigrants who are in the United States illegally and return to their home country voluntarily. The Department of Homeland Security said in a news release that it would also pay for travel assistance and that people will use an app called CBP Home to tell the government that they plan to return home will be deprioritized for detention and removal by immigrants. So they should come and report themselves so that they're deprioritized for detention.
What a nice incentivization.
I'm done with this. Let me hear what you have to say about this. Welcome to Babes with Marriott, Chinye. I see Chinye. I see all of you in the chat. Welcome. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much for being part of us. I join in welcoming everyone aboard. Now, isn't it, wonderful, so ingenious of our dear president? We must award the laurel of being a real deal maker right now. And I'm just being sarcastic and satirical. The truth of the matter is that this man thinks everybody could be taken for a sucker. He thinks everybody could be taken for a sucker, so they downgrade $1,000.
What do you mean by sucker? As in like a mumu?
Yeah, like quote and unquote, respect to the fans and members of Dundee United Football Club. But like we often say in Nigeria, he thinks everybody will unite like Dundee. It's not so
like Dundee United.
Yes, I'm trying to reframe it so that I do not stereotype anybody. But you know that in Nigeria we call this kind of deal stuff for Dundee United. Dundee United.
Right. I learned from you that Dundee United was an actual team.
Yeah, it's a team in the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom. So what we're saying here is that he thinks people will suck up this kind of baloney and then we'll sing Hallelujah in the great by and by and probably Kumbaya, Song of Freedom among the, what that Negro spiritual is like. That feeling of yes, he is giving us something for which we ought to be grateful. No, thanks, no, is what I think he will get from
No thanks,
a
no.
no, thanks, no, from a vast majority of the immigrants that
Illegal
are
immigrants.
endangered now. Yes, that are endangered now. See, I
Mm-hmm.
do not know what can change the mind of Mr. Donald Trump. Remember, with some mayor of Sobrighton, the
Mm-hmm.
last homily by the departed Pope Francis at Easter, how he said migrants should be shown respect all over the world. And when that man said that, the following morning at about 7:30 a.m., he transited into eternal reign with the Lord Jesus Christ. And for Donald Trump, who attended his funeral, you would think there will be some, uh, some impartation from the last
Mm-hmm.
words of this uh, man that did so much in preaching peace to the
Mm-hmm.
world by way of a Christian standard and moral compass. But Donald Trump is not really connecting with the feelings of subaltern people all over the world, which is why this desperation. But from what we now know, this is not just going to be a deal for clamping down on uh, what we were first told, the dummy that we were first given, because this always felt, oh, this one, they will believe anything. What we were first told was the story that, oh, criminal elements who are illegal aliens will be the people that will be thrown out of this country. But people who knew, I listened to the auction of Christian message in a church in Kansas City, where where the pastor of ANBC, All Nation Breakthrough Church, said that, oh, just wait until all these things begin to happen. You think illegal aliens will be the target? No. When it begins to rain, it will not just be funny. It will be pouring. And what do we have now? You have seen situations in which American citizens are also being thrown out first, and then questions asked later. And the
Mm-hmm.
administration is so reluctant in apologizing for its mistakes. So many missteps and so much mistakes. Look at the gentleman that was yanked up from Maryland and thrown to El Salvador. What's it called?
Mistakenly.
Prison. They said initially they admitted it was done mistakenly, but
Mm-hmm.
since then they have been doubling down. They have been having oppositions and all kind of stories. I mean, I've never seen such an horrendous performance on the part of a president from the civilized world that would say, "Oh, well, he is there," and then we don't know if the president of that country accedes to it. We can't force that. Disobeying and not listening to rulings from federal courts, and this thing now going all the way to Supreme Court. Supreme Court just made a pronouncement on all 9 justices there, taking a position on how this administration must comply with what's it called? Due process. What is this saying? He is saying, oh, I think what I'm hearing is different. How can you hear what is different? So people are turning unambiguous and clear-cut rulings to reducing them to polemic standards so that everybody can say, oh, your truth is not my truth. This alternate reality of a thing is being taken too far. So much so that somebody that has never loved the truth will promote his falsehood as if it is truth. And then can just poke fun at all of us. Thank God, he also found out very early that this country would stand rock solid against him for a third time. He has recanted concerning that. And he's been beaten back in his track concerning so many of these things. And what can we say? Thank God for the founding fathers of this country for giving us a legacy of strong institutions. That is what is containing Donald Trump. Of course, you see his position on whether he will go for third time, where he flatly said, "Oh no," but he would hand over to worthy Republican and what have you. He said he doesn't know if it is constitutional. Of course, he knows it is unconstitutional for him to ask for third term, but he will reduce everything to arguments so that he will hide his what's it called, elementary grade level reasoning, and then sound like, oh, he is somebody who knows how to argue back and forth. It's so shameful. So we go back to the issue of these trade deals that is been making. Nobody is kissing up to him. No, I don't know of any serious, but he has to work that out. It is self-inflicted. It is avoidable. If he has taken us on this roller coaster that leads to nowhere, he is always the one that is imagining it. It depends on which side of the bed he wakes up. He wakes up from any day. He will tell you, "Oh, they are cheating America and all that." But you and I, who have this heritage of coming from an African country, can you really say that anybody has ever cheated America in the presence of IMF, World Bank, International Financial Corporation, IFC? Of course, they know they have always cheated the downtrodden people from disfavored countries of this world. But he wants to change the narrative and then play the victim's card. I do not know how far I can go with all this, because the whole world says that this trade war at all levels is avoidable, and that now it is spiking inflation trend all over everywhere in the United States. And so, regardless of the new employment figures that got rolled out, that is not because of him. It was in spite of him. Nobody should give him credit, because when it looked like it was bad in the opinion polls, he was blaming it on Joe Biden. Now that the employment figures look like he's enjoying some kind of upswing, he wants to embrace it that, oh, it's working for us. No, it is the resilience of the American economy and not the unstable dynamics that continues to get rolled out from Donald Trump. Thank you very much. Hello, Ola.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much. Do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen in the chat. Hit like, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we drop videos. We're getting into the topic of the day right now. We'll be right back.
Of Nigerian youth have staged a protest in Abuja calling for the immediate release of popular social media critic Martin Ose, popularly known as Very Dark Man. The protesters, who marched from the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to the premises of the bank where he was arrested, and then to the National Human Rights Commission, held placards with different messages demanding for the immediate release of the social critic. The protesters, who declined speaking to journalists on camera, say the arrest is unjust and are demanding transparency from the authorities as well as intervention from the National Human Rights Commission. Very Darkman was reportedly arrested on the 2nd of April in a joint operation involving the Department of State Services, the EFCC and the Nigeria Police, and he is currently said to be in the custody of the EFCC.
All right, so let's talk about this Very Dark Man saga over the past weekend. He was picked up at a GTBank branch in Abuja, I think, while he was out there to protest some kind of deduction or fee deduction, illegal fee deductions from his bank account,
from
the
his
mother's
bank account. Yes.
Right. And one thing led to another. He's been locked up since then for a whole 48 hours. EFCC never made a statement. As of today, I think they've made a statement that he's been arrested for many petitions. But the thing that most people are frowning at is the manner in which he was is it inhumanely, right? Arrested or adopted,
Yes.
or abducted or kidnapped, as Nigerians like to call it, for the past 24 hours. What's your take on this situation, sir?
Yeah, there's a kidnap. I disagree with that description. I'd rather go for abduction. That anyway, it's been abducted in the last few hours.
There's a difference in abduction and kidnapping.
I'm just playing around words there.
Okay.
Yes,
I get
it. Yeah, well, the truth of the matter is that we would do everything possible at our stable to celebrate Nigeria when it does what is good. Instead of going after very dark men, how about these people that creamed Nigerians of over 1 point
CBEX.
Yes, 1.3 or 1.3 trillion naira. The excitement should be on there. The excitement of EFCC and the Nigerian system should have been on how to hold Yaya Bello accountable. I do not get it. I do not get it. It's so, for example, you see, let me give you an insight. For example, somebody attempted getting me assassinated in Nigeria. I outed the person. Today, I was told that this person submitted an what's it called? A petition against me. I've checked with those I should check with in Nigeria. I think she is a joker. But instead of going after that individual who tried to get me assassinated for minor royal rumble, you are carrying on, you are bifurcating the throne of a king. I am a kingmaker. My job as a kingmaker is to provide checks and balances.
Is to scrutinize that situation.
To scrutinize that institution. This is the democratic component of royalty in Nigeria, in Yoruba land. And just because I said, oh, this is not right, the king cannot be on the throne, and the child is also demonstrating instincts of tyranny. And then you said people should go and kidnap me and throw me into the creek in Ondo State. And then I exposed all that. And everything I predicted they wanted to do had played out. And somebody said I should come and provide proof that that person actually wanted to assassinate me. Do you see how dumb and stupid and foolish some of our people can be when they argue? So my dead body, I should have allowed myself to be killed before, first. Since then, dead body will not talk, will not say anything. My body, like that of Delegiwa, was the proof of his assassination. Like that of Baba Bolaige was the proof of his assassination. Like that of Olaya Fagbamibe was the proof of their gross killings. This is what you find. A poor person was screamed off of our hard-earned money. We're talking of an insignificant amount of money that will not make a big deal to the CEO of GTBank here. So they said maybe 20,000 naira. Is that what? Because they said it looked like, oh, VDM's mother actually got that loan. And the argument here is that she did not. And we have seen how, yes, we have seen how hard-earned money often disappear from people's bank accounts in Nigeria. And so this guy leveraging his influence as an influencer. Now, yes, there may be some disagreement about disrupting maybe activities in the bank, but let me tell you, extraordinary craze would demand extraordinary containment. So whatever VDM has done there may not really warrant the big stick they have wielded. So they said, you see, everybody is saying this is being held for political dissent. It could be true because look at the ambiguity in the police response to this. Oh, there have been several petitions against him. From who? For what? But the immediate context here is the fact that the mother was defrauded allegedly, and he went there to demand.
Let me inject your thought with this, sir. There is you know, on the screen I have Body of Christ FreeVDM. There's speculations that one of the petitions that he's been arrested for was that of Mercy Chinwo, who filed because VDM was also poking his nose into this matter between Mercy Chinwo and a record label boss, who she accused of holding a lot of royalties, hundreds of thousands of dollars of royalties back. That case is also with the EFCC. Ever since then, VDM had been dragging the EFCC, to be honest. So he uses his mouth on social media to drag people. So there's a lot of interest in quote unquote VDM, whatever that is, a human being, a brand.
So, what they should focus on, is it wrong for civil society to be involved with holding people account or institutions account, holding them to certain standards? These are components of democracy. If you want Nigerians to own this democracy and you do not want it to be a failure, already it's showing in the kind of apathy experienced when there is voting in Nigeria. The common folks who should really celebrate and make democracy a kind of happenstance, they are not excited about it. But when you do this now, you worsen the situation.
Okay, so sorry to be interjecting, right? There's another speculation, not speculation this time. This is a fact. VDM said.
Can you pause a little? We are enjoying. Sure. I mean, we are experiencing a kind of
like a heat. Okay.
In the flow.
Sure. Am I back?
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm not back yet. Uh-oh. Is it me? Maybe it's him. I think it's him. It's him. All right. Look, we engage before he comes back. Let's see if he can come back. All right. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I think it's him. He's out now. Yeah. He probably got a call. So again, this case, I just didn't get the time to come on. Amount of prestige to come and dissect this. Like you said, Marriott, who just said that? It's Marriott. Marriott said this story get K-leg. Naturally, as for normal, okay? This case of this last weekend is not about VDM. It's about every single one of us. You know, it's about every single one of us. Because anybody can get picked up just because you run your mouth. And anybody can be deemed running their mouth by people who don't like dissent. Okay? So, or people that don't like freedom of speech. And we know that the authorities, the powers that be in Nigeria, they don't like the fact that you have the freedom to run your mouth. So VDM in this particular context is everybody. But now, because VDM has a past, as in like a very, very recent past, right? As in like the last few videos, let me even see if I can find some of them. Like the last few videos of him running his mouth heavily against government agency. Not just against government agency, we're talking about the EFCC, we're talking about the Tinubu, but with very, very, very strong statements, okay? Statements like, I have people inside of the EFCC, okay? I hope he can come back. Maybe he got disconnected completely, right? Like cases like, you know, things like I have a mole inside of the EFCC, and I quote, VDM said this himself. If you're saying things like that, Marriott, help me out here. Are you not crossing the line, right, of potential criminal behavior? I don't know if I can just say I have a mole inside of FBI and they're not listening to me. Even the one I just said right now, even though it's in quote, they will check if it's quote. They're listening every time. Yes, here in America too. Yeah. So What is you guys take on this? Right? He has a past. It is absolutely wrong for them to kidnap him or abduct him in that way. Nigeria needs to do better when it's time to. Nigeria needs to do better when you want to arrest. It's okay to arrest a person because of petition if they haven't answered to a call. By the way, they said they sent multiple. EFCC has come out and said they sent multiple invitations to him. Okay.
What happened to us?
You got disconnected. We were all live. We're still talking here, but you got disconnected somehow, somewhere. Your internet got disconnected. Are you back?
Right.
I think you're coming back.
Really?
All right. So I carried on the show. But
good. That's very professional. And so I hope people who are saying, "Oh, who is the professional and who is not professional," would see what it means to be professional here.
You mean who is a professional journalist?
Yes, and who is not.
All right.
You can train yourself and excel at anything. So that containment in Nigeria has to stop.
Let me bring you up to speed, sir.
Yes.
This is what we're talking about. VDM has a past, not just a past. Me and you have a past too, right? We're talking about a very, very We're talking about a very, very, very recent past, as in like few videos ago, as in like probably 1 or 2 videos ago. VDM with his own mouth said he has a mole inside of the EFCC office that tells him everything. At what point does going in that direction causing criminal?
That is the typical Nigerian braggadocio. But it is not.
So all of us can just run our mouth and say we have moles inside of DSS and EFCC.
Don't you know the way the average Nigerian speaks? Would talk. It's called Shakara Lo Jeba Fela Nikula Kuti. So he would talk as if, he can really snuff your very essence out of you now, your very existential stuff out of you now. But you go there. It is empty boast. But
okay, so we want to pick you up. We want to pick you up first before we find out if it's empty boast or not. we want to find out if we will find out if it's empty boast or not, but we're not going to take the chances.
That he has a mole there. Of course, there are things we also say. You see, let me tell you, we have different canons as Nigerians from community to community on how to hold people to account. For example, in a place like Akure or Baile or Ekitiland, there is something that is called CB. During festivals, non-citizens are outed and they are parodied, they are satirized through songs and what have you. See, events that have happened all year round. So this idea of holding people to account is not strange to us as Africans. It is that thing that is in our DNA as people that, so innate with us that, we have certain practices, certain what's it called? Certain morals that says that democracy is not strange to us. So when people bring this up in national space to hold people to account, it does not really. Can our people just afford themselves some moments of self-defecation? We make Nigeria dull when we clamp down. We have the excuse to clamp down on everything that. Force the citizens to understand that it is happening here in Nigeria. So where is the Nigerian exceptionalism? Where is the Nigerian peculiar situation, peculiar character and form? We want to kill all these things. Please allow the average Nigerian to breathe. Allow the average Nigerian
let the poor breathe.
Like Tinubu put it. But beyond that. Breathing for the poor, you must allow for people to use whatever tool is available to them to pursue justice and fairly and fairness. I do not get it that an old woman will be defrauded.
Let me inspire your train of thought, sir. There's a comment from Marriott. Marriott is she's a lawyer by trade.
Thank you, Marriott.
Yeah. So Marriott says, has he crossed the line? he could be saying that as a professional street journalist. There is
Simple.
no crime saying you have sources in government agencies. What are these petitions? And then she goes on. She says
it can't be better said than the way our attorney at law, Marriott, is putting it.
One last line. She said, "Yes, uncle, source is not a mole." And then she says, "Where have these petitions been? Please, what are they about?" And then Beyond Beauty, who is another one of my G's, Jum said, "I disagree with this uncle. Please, this uncle is my uncle, the I Chief Odokwetu of Aide Ogbese.
Thank you.
Please tender with respect as you speak."
It's all right. It's appreciated. Thank you so much. Yes.
All right. So this is I Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. This is my actual uncle. All right. So what do you? I just wanted to inspire your train of thought, that direction you're going with Marriott's point of view. What can you talk? Because Jum says you can't talk anyhow and make allegations you can't prove. Say something to that, sir.
Who defines talking anyhow? What is talking anyhow? It is nothing other than what has come upon us in a postmodernist situation and post-Trump situation. That ordinarily should pass for free speech, free expression, or freedom of expression, is now being mischaracterized as a crime, and that you are talking anyhow. Who says somebody is talking anyhow? We do not talk anyhow. Nigeria got messed up. So when we do not, when we now hold back this talking anyhow, we think Nigeria will be the better for it. No. We must
I have a question, sir.
Yes, we must be able to put our affluent word on the chest through individual efforts and collective efforts. That is, embracing the fabrics of our strong institutions and then individual efforts, initiatives too.
You know, I am on sabbatical from live shows at Man of Prestige. I've been on it for like a week now, and I'm not ready to come back. And you're about to force me to come back with this topip, but I'm not coming back.
So if we are able to move your hand, then we have achieved something. If we are able to move you back to this, to appear on the show, we have been able to achieve something. That is the essence of what we do. You know. Personally,
I think it's always wrong to abduct or kidnap anybody. You have to read their rights to them. You have to expressly read their rights to them.
Especially state abduction, state kidnapping.
It has to be done properly.
You frown at it when non-state actors do this. You frown at it. Oh, Boko Haram is wrong. That what's it called? X-Men are wrong. But who is setting the standard? It's just like when people talk about fake news. I said, spare me this ugly campaign about something against who is most guilty
against fake news.
The most guilty about fake news or fakery is the person that originated the phrase. He was the one that was always pushing it on our face, every lie. And look at the matter that was handled by the New York court that said that upheld the fact that he was involved with his tabloid magnate friend about planting stories everywhere. This is no pattern with this individual who originated fake news. By the end of the day, even governments who get involved actively, deliberately, on purpose, with acts of propaganda, which in itself is nothing other than trafficking in misinformation, disinformation, and deliberate whatever. And sometimes, if you see active propaganda by government, maybe 20%, 10%, 5% may be true. Every other thing is
let me say this, sir.
And then they come around and say, oh, the citizens are guilty. Where are the citizens getting the inspiration?
No, it is not. He's not guilty yet but we have to. Okay, so I think they are picking, correct me if I'm wrong, sir. They are picking him up first. And then they will now charge him. I think they're about to charge him. They already have the order now to keep him for 14 days. Hold on, sir. These people, One second, sir. So they already have an order now to hold him for at least 14 days. Well, I think they will charge him in about 2 days. And no, it's not. We don't. It's innocent until proven guilty, sir. But there are petitions. and they are saying that he's being arrested because there are multiple different petitions, not just to EFCC but also to the DSS, and also they are saying that, you know, they're not saying he's a criminal yet. They're just trying to find out if he's a criminal. And I have a question for you, sir. If I have the natural urge to laugh at him that they picked him up, because I don't agree with the picking him up personally, that's my principle. But if I have a natural urge to laugh at him, is that criminal on my part, sir?
It won't be criminal on your part, just that you should be aware of the heights of all this pick up or picking up, because it is the storm today. It is the storm today. It may be yours tomorrow.
Exactly.
Not just cause. I have been there before.
Exactly.
You know, of course, you know the story too well that in politics I would have done very well. People love me, folks love me, but I also afford myself, oh, is this true love? It could not be true love, because for doing nothing before, there were times, there was a time I got arrested alongside the local government chairman. I served. I was this personal assistant. You remember now? And I was on false allegation. I was arrested for attempted murder. Something that never happened. Of course, the case never went anywhere. I do not even know how they handled it. But the truth of the matter is that the man that I served, who was the local government chairman, Mr. Edo, wanted to be, well-known individual that would not hurt any fly, you know, was falsely accused, and I was picked alongside him.
Yes,
and I knew it was wrong.
It can be anybody.
That was the day I said in 1997, I would never ever be involved in active politics anymore in my life. And since then, I've never looked back.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. Because it never happened. Some politicians came very early in the morning. They took money from us. As the personal assistant, I personally was the one giving each of them 4,000 naira for the DPN local government primary election, or local government primary. And then a few minutes after, everybody queued on. People are just eating akara with us, who are just taking 4,000 naira each from us. They just queued behind the man that later became the local government chairman, Mr. C.O. Oluremi. With due respect, my own big uncle as well. He later became deputy governor of Ondo State, and later Nigeria's ambassador to somewhere, to Uganda, you know. And they voted for him, and we were thinking about these people just took money from us. So our supporters, our boys, they said, okay, you need to refund the money that is still in your pocket. And then the whole thing took a different turn. These people said, we have taken this money, is never coming back to you. Now I would laugh about, even then I was just laughing that politics can be very funny. You know, me, I came from a radical activism background from the university, even up to that moment. Everybody knew I was a radical in politics.
University. Even after.
When I saw all those things, I'm like, no, politicians are...
It's not worth it.
They are a strange breed. They will mess anybody. Yes, they will compromise you, they will mess you up. And then I said, oh, if I could be arrested, big picture of this funny character, when they wanted to take money from him, and he resisted. Those people said, so he said he will kill himself, he will commit murder, but he lifted himself up, nobody heard him when he was coming back from the air. And then he landed his bare buttocks on, what's it called, on the paved road at Obaradeshida Road in Akure, and probably suffered some broken stuff to his pelvic or his joint. And then
I saw some discourse throughout the course of the weekend, right? I think it's because we want to round up now. We run out of time. Right. I think it's very important to.
Sorry, but there are funny things.
No, you're right.
In public space in Nigeria and all over the world.
Yeah, you see, your great uncle Fagbamigbe lost his life to this type of craziness in Nigeria. This didn't start yesterday. It's just that we have the internet age, and now all eyes are on them.
You remember that August 13, 1983, late Honorable Fagbamigbe wrote the police that he was going to be assassinated. He was going to be. They did nothing. August 16, 1983, he got murdered. He got assassinated. And then, even before he got killed that day, he was on the phone to the then Commissioner of Police on those states. The Commissioner of Police said, "Oh, everywhere had gone all right," and that if he could find his way to Okuta Elerila, the then State Police Command headquarters, how would he? So the man just dropped the phone and he said, "I have been betrayed." The whole NPN federal government machinery that was supposed to guarantee the safety of his life and property failed him. And then he got axed down, his collar phone got axed, and then he was burnt.
Yeah.
So this man who had 13th August, he would be killed. Who got killed? What other proof? So they just needed his body before they took action to make sure that they prevented that. And so when one imbecile, an idiot, started mouthing this nonsense in the radio, they said that, "Oh, I should provide proof that somebody wanted to assassinate." I was the one who saw the assassins, and then you were telling me I should have been thrown into the creek in Eseldo as a kingmaker before I ran away from Nigeria, or before I mentioned what the crazy Olori wanted to do to me. No, I will stay alive and fight these people and not allow myself to be sacrificed like a dog to Ogun. So the same thing, when they come after youths who are opinionated, who think they have to be proactive to make sure that Nigeria works for all of us, or for the world in which we live in. And then all you want to do is to make sure that these people are demonized, the society demonizes them. So you saw Farrot in his interview with Sheon Okinbaloye on CNN last night. Sorry, on the Channel television, not CNN, Channel television.
It's on my watch. It's on my watch later. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Oh, yes. So, I mean, using the system that people do not trust so much to also put the system on trial and see how far we can go. This did not just start today. It is in Nigeria that somebody will go and kill a monkey.
Let me interject so we can round up, sir.
Yeah, sorry, but we'll bury the remains in the back of his house, and then we'll go and alert the police or whatever that, oh, a human remain has been buried. And then you find a whole community facing, what's it called? Pogrom and genocidal action for false information. We need to tread with care in Nigeria so that we don't turn our citizens against
the keyword phrase is with care, because the other side of the argument are making the weirdo same from a weirdo angle. They are making the same argument. They're making the same case for why he was picked up, because they don't want to take any chances. In fact, you had people going as far as saying
in the final analysis.
Hold on, I'll let you go, sir. In that same breath, they're saying that why are youth going to protest because of ordinary VDM? They're saying there are bigger issues, and I'm like, that is a big issue. People getting picked up because they have an opinion is a big issue. You can't do that.
See, yeah, they're making us to laugh now, some comic relief with that kind of view. But let me also tell you, isn't it also disturbing that because of this one wrong pick, you see the reports of I don't know what to believe. Some things you don't trust on social media, but you see the run on GTBank, allegedly that people are withdrawing and doing stuff as a form of protest. We don't know if it is true or not, but if it is true, people should look at the cost of one wrong turn for a nation, one wrong misjudgment on the part of
let me say this to that, sir. Let me say this to that.
Yes.
If it's the same thing as there's Black Lives Matter protest going on, and you're now talking about looting. That's the job of the law enforcement. That should not one should not distract the other.
We are not talking of looting now. No. Okay. I don't think there's any report of looting. It's about people closing their account, saying we don't want to buy.
But they have the right to do that.
It is true, but what does that mean? in an attempt, this overzealous demonstration of, oh, we want to arrest VDM, then economic
Okay, on their
sabotage,
part.
yes,
Yeah.
unintended consequence, which is
Yes.
economic sabotage. And who is
Mm-hmm.
precipitating it? Government
Yeah,
agents.
the government
But
agencies,
you
the
know what?
organizations.
Yeah, but you know what? I
Mm-hmm.
have this infinite and supreme confidence on the Nigerian system, and I know that because I have been interacting since I got wind of this year person submitting what's it called, petition
Maybe
against
we
me.
can bring that to your next special because we have to run. I see.
Yes, so yeah, so what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that I've been interacting with people at the highest level in the Nigerian police, DSS, and what have you.
Right.
From my interactions with them, I know that they will give the right call. They will let VDM go and let him continue to influence the social space the way it's been doing. It's not harming anybody other than to make sure that we have an improved and better brand as a country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. VDM running his mouth is content for people like me. They should allow him to run his content in peace. Let him
Abi,
brief. Allow
Abi.
him. There's no need to pick up people that have opinions.
He
Do
runs
your
his mouth. He runs his
yeah.
mouth, and then we can feed.
I run mine too. You know, I rather he stay outside and run his mouth and counter him as much as I prefer that than him being picked up. Picking him up is a demonstration of you can pick up anybody because somebody made an allegation. And Nigerian security agencies are notorious for picking people up without doing proper investigations first. Before FBI or any type of body SEC pick up people here, usually it's over. They already did the investigation.
It's over.
And
Yes,
it's
very watertight, airtight.
done.
Bunch of evidence. It's done. It's done.
98% of the time is done. In Nigeria, only 2% of the time is just used to harass each other.
Arrest first and investigate later.
Yeah.
That cannot really recommend itself for serious people.
Yeah. Marriott says they should close itself. That means the account. I closed my GTBank years ago. I still have mine open. There's 1,000 naira in it. But every time I try to reopen, if I visit Nigeria, they say I have to go through processes to reopen it. But they send me a statement for 1,000 naira every month. I think it's okay to leave that with them, Abi. He lost his value. God help us. It has been there for 15 years, so for 15 years.
Let it continue to be there, at least symbolically. It's holding place for you.
Maybe one day to come back up, sir. Maybe to just climb in value one day. It's go back to 69 naira per $1. No. The other way around.
We'll sit down with them and calculate whatever they have realized trading with that money. Or, you know, they can call for your rent to do that. But it's all right.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for hanging out. We had about 15 people hanging out with us throughout the show. Thank you so much for being here. Hit like, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications. Subscribe and turn up your notifications. We're here weekly on Mondays. We're here weekly on Mondays, and we drop videos multiple times during the week as well. So please make sure you're subscribed. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. God bless.